when I do ask a great question that says it, I'm like, you don't mean that.
Hey, Matt.
Hey, Mike.
Should we do the podcast?
We should do the podcast.
Okay. Welcome to Hacking the Grepson, the development podcast where I, Mike, talk with you,
Matt.
about software design and development and programming, fun stuff like that, right?
Yeah, and life, the universe, everything.
Yeah, apple pie, everything.
Yeah.
But you know, Matt.
I do know Matt.
Everything doesn't always go right every time. Sometimes when we podcast, problems come up and we need to investigate them and figure out why they're not working.
Yeah, there's some sort of trouble and we have to figure out how to fix it.
Yeah, we need to punch it or kick it or
take a shot in the dark.
Shoot it.
Ah, there we go.
Troubleshooting. Yes, today we're going to talk about troubleshooting in the... And Matt loves when we do stuff like this.
I do. Really funny.
So we both read this article on a website called The Autodidacts, which I had to relearn meant someone who is self-taught and self-learning. And there is no didact. There's autodidact, but not didact.
So it's autodidacts.io.
.io. And apparently it is the blog of 3 different people, but this one person who goes by the term Curiosity wrote a blog post called On Troubleshooting. And man, it's a really good blog post in terms of its content and the writing and the points it makes.
It's also not short.
Also not short. It's actually the opposite of short.
Yeah, so we're not going to do the thing we usually do where we go through an article point by point. We're just going to kind of talk about troubleshooting and, maybe we'll refer back to the article here and there. But that we wanted to give it credit for kind of inspiring this episode.
Yeah, when I was reading it, I was just kind of internally kind of nodding yes, I like that point. Yep, I agree. When I read blog posts like this, just, before we actually get into what troubleshooting is, I have this feeling of when I'm just agreeing with everything in a blog post and it seems kind of natural to say the things they're saying and doesn't everybody know this already? Duh, you should do that, or duh, that makes sense. Am I wrong? Is there value in writing something that seems obvious like this?
It has been said that sense is not all that common. And since I heard that term, it has proven true so many times.
So what you're saying is there's value in stating the obvious?
Yeah, but also I might know all sorts of this stuff, right? I've done it for years. How long have I been programming now?
God, eons.
I mean, seriously, since I was 8.
Yeah.
So and if you're a new programmer, you might not know some of this stuff, right? Yeah. If you're new into the industry or what have you, I can see you not knowing it. But also, if you're old like me, and you've maybe forgotten some of this stuff, or just it's not top of mind, reading things like this can be a really good way of kind of resurfacing that in your mind and being like, oh yeah, that mentality is the way I started approaching this and I fell into this rut.
Yeah.
I find it useful for that.
And I think it's also important to think about this kind of advice in a 4-dimensional way, that it's not only what they're saying now, but it's is there a change in the way that they're saying things? Has troubleshooting changed in 2025 versus when computers first came out? Or has troubleshooting really changed ever in the history of troubleshooting?
Well, I mean, yeah, it has changed quite a bit since the initial, if we ignore outside of software development, if we just focus in there, it's changed quite a bit. Because, if we were in punch card days, it was expensive. Well, not super expensive, but it was expensive to you had to reprint all the cards or whatever. Yeah. So you couldn't just do like I do and just slap a bunch of log messages in because that wouldn't help you. And some of the bugs that happen down the kernel level at lower level programming languages, I think troubleshooting them can be very different than a lot of the stuff that modern development uses more often.
That's a very good point. My previous point has been invalidated.
You're welcome.
So, troubleshooting. I don't even know exactly where that specific phrase comes from, but regardless, what troubleshooting to me means is, first, they say troubleshooting is systematically determining the cause of unwanted behavior in a system, and fixing it. So basically they're saying troubleshooting is not just like, it doesn't work. Troubleshooting is, it doesn't work, and I have now figured out how to fix it.
Would you like to know where troubleshooter comes from?
Well, the look on your face says, yes, I do.
It's just weird because I don't... It's only from the 1890s on. It was apparently a telegraph or telephone line repairman. I don't understand what that has to do with troubleshooting, but I guess it's to shoot trouble.
Like with a gun?
I don't know. It's very unclear.
Like dead, like kill the bug, kill. I don't know.
It's just a troubleshooter was employed by the telegraph and railroad companies building rail lines in the western part of the United States. It was the job of the troubleshooter to find those that were being trouble during the construction and to shoot them.
With what?
I don't...
A telegram gun?
Apparently you just shoot the telegram.
So more holes equals better?
Yeah, I assumed it was like shoot a message, right? But nope, apparently not.
Okay. That's fascinating.
Sorry about that.
Well, when I do troubleshooting, when I'm programming, I don't use any kinds of firearms. I try to put as few holes in my code as possible.
I do trouble stabbing.
Trouble poking, trouble nudging, that kind of stuff. I try to leave the code alive.
Trouble slicing, just like a scalpel.
Surgical, yeah, very precise. But okay, troubleshooting. Well, let's just take a simple example. I run the web app I'm working on, and there is an error in the dev console saying that, I don't know, a network request didn't work or something like that, or it can't find a file or something like that. So that's a bug. It shouldn't do that. That's, as they said, unwanted behavior. I don't want that to happen. It should find every file, every network request should work, no errors should be produced. And
something is making that not happen.
And
that's the trouble.
Yeah, that's the trouble. And I'm going to find it. It should really be trouble finding shooting, or trouble finding and then troubleshooting, because,
honestly, the finding is the hard part.
Right. And that's not even in the term. So it's kind of bearing the lead the whole time.
Right.
Yeah. So basically what we've concluded is this is a terrible term.
Yep.
And we should call it like...
Problem finding.
Problem finding. That doesn't have quite the same ring to it. Anyway.
Problem hunting.
Problem hunting. Yeah. Problem hunting 2025. That's going to come out on Steam next week.
It's going to be like Factorio.
Well, there is PC Build Simulator. And I don't know if it has a bug fixing module. If you turn on the computer and you get a bad post, and
why would I want to do that?
I don't know, but a friend of ours was super crazy into it at one point, so somebody can be. Anyway, so troubleshooting. The important thing to know about troubleshooting that I've learned over the, decades that I've troubleshot computers, because I think I got my first computer in like 95, so we're going on like 30 years of trying to turn on a computer and it do what I want without stopping, halting,
probably even
deathing.
further back than that if you include like game consoles.
True. Oh, so do you want to say the first bit of troubleshooting you probably did as a kid then? Because that just made me think of something.
Blowing in the Nintendo
Blowing
cartridge?
the Nintendo thing, yeah. So you put the Nintendo cartridge into the Nintendo, you close the little hatch, or maybe you don't. You press the button and blank screen.
Yep.
What the heck? Got to troubleshoot it. How do you troubleshoot it?
Yeah, well, I remember actually what I would usually do is my assumption was always, it's not seated properly. Even at like 8, I'm still thinking that way, right? And so I would like take it out and like pull it slightly forward or push it, make sure it was pushed all the way in, and then I'd gently press it down to like make sure I didn't knock it out of the way and see if that helped. If it didn't, I'd go the other direction with it, wiggle it back and forth.
Oh, yeah, because it did have wiggle. It had a little wiggle. It didn't quite sit perfectly in there.
But somehow, somewhere, someday,
there's a song title in there somewhere.
Yeah, somebody figured out that you could blow in it because it's the assumption I think was that there was dust.
Yeah, on the actual
connector.
Yeah.
I would blow into the actual Nintendo itself.
Oh, same.
It didn't do any good, but
but it felt good.
Yeah.
And every once in a while, like 1 out of 120 times, it would magically work again. You're like, solved it.
What I want to know is how we all knew to do it.
Playground.
There was no internet. How did they know? How did it get all the way across the country?
Who is patient zero of who was the first kid to blow in their Nintendo system?
Yeah. That's the sound.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Now I really want to find that person. I can't believe that's not an internet article on some ad-ridden website.
I'm not going to search right now because I really want to. I'm going to avoid it.
Okay, you're gonna not know.
I will know later. Well, I'm not going to look right now.
There is a curse that comes with knowing, as we've mentioned.
I've heard
before.
that. Yes.
Yeah.
All right, back to troubleshooting.
So troubleshooting. So yeah, that's a great example of an early troubleshooting that we all did. a lot of kids did as a kid. Because the Nintendo game, the problem was unwanted behavior. My game doesn't load. How do I fix it? Well, I turn the power off, I turn it back on. That didn't fix it. I pull the cartridge out, I put it back in. That didn't fix it. I pull the cartridge out, I look into the, like, you know, actual connecty bit that connects to the system. You're like, maybe there's dust on it. Blow it off, do that. Maybe I'll blow into the actual system. Yeah. Maybe I'll unplug the cables and plug them back in.
I'll get a Q-tip and actually like rub up against the thing.
Wow, I never went that far.
Oh, I always did that. Q-tip. I had a whole like kit that had like, I think it was like alcohol swabs or something in them, which I have later learned that was not a good thing to use. But
alcohol's bad, kids.
No, not just because that. It like ruined the components.
Oh.
Made it actually worse over time. Oh, wow. Because basically it would like shine them up and clean them off, but it was like taking off a layer effectively. Wow. So don't do that. Okay. Also, don't eat your alcohol swabs.
Nope.
Choking hazard.
Yep, bad. So, but get to the meat of it. Like, put your Nintendo cartridge in, you hit go on the power on the thing, and it doesn't work. How do you even start troubleshooting? Like, how would we even get to that flow that I just described?
Well, so one of the things they say here, and I want to disagree with it ever so slightly, is that, like, one of the first sentences in here is troubleshooting takes a certain mindset. It takes, as far as I can tell, an interest in the underlying structure of the system, right? I disagree. I've seen plenty of people try to troubleshoot that had no interest in the underlying system. They're just not good at it, right? A good troubleshooter requires that. So, like, for me, I was interested in making the game work because I wanted that to work, and I am a very curious person by nature, and like I had been doing like a little bit of programming when my mom got pregnant with my brother, which was I was around like eight and a half, somewhere in there. And so like I had a computer at home. I'd played around with BASIC a little bit, so I kind of just generally knew how things worked in that land, and I was motivated to get the Nintendo to work because I want to play Metroid.
Yeah. Well, and also I think you bring up a good point is that my game doesn't work. You could respond two different ways. You could respond the way you did, which was like, okay, this thing doesn't work. How can I fix it?
Yep.
Or you can respond, this thing doesn't work. I'm going to do something else.
Yep.
Or I'm going to just get mad and yell at my mom, why doesn't my thing work? Fix it.
Yeah. Or just go to someone else and be like, hey, I don't know what to do about this. I'm giving up, right?
Right.
I am the kind of person who wants to fix everything that's wrong myself.
Although I think that third way was actually like a B of the first part, which is like know when you can fix something and know when a resource can help you fix it.
And that is a really valuable thing to know.
Yeah.
Know your limits on when you're troubleshooting any time in life.
Because the more you troubleshoot something and get frustrated and don't fix it, you are slowly getting worse at the troubleshooting is what you're inferring?
Well, because when you stop thinking as logically.
Yeah. You start getting emotionally and philosophical about it.
The worst part of troubleshooting, really any kind of fixing anything, for me personally, is when I think I'm almost there. Like, I'm like, oh, it's so close to working. Like you've knocked out like 10 different little things that were in the way, and it's like, okay, I got it. It's just this one little thing, and you can't fix that. I will sit at my computer for literal hours, not realizing how long it is, just trying to fix that one thing.
Yeah.
Or I will get so unbelievably angry if it's someone else's product that I'm using that I am not fun to be around.
Now, where do you think that like tenacity comes from? Like, why not have the self-awareness of like, I've been working on this for a long time, I need to take a break, or maybe it's something I can't fix. Like, what keeps you going forever? Is it just ego or
no?
What?
I love solving problems. That really is what it boils down to.
And you hate not solving problems.
I really do. I hate losing things. I don't hate losing games, but like if I've lost something, if I have misplaced it, I need to find out where it went. Like that's part of my like whole OCD thing.
Okay, but so that's not an ego-driven thing. Like I should know where things are, and I don't. Nope. So does not compute. It's just
nope. Although a lot of people think it is.
Okay.
And I'm like, nope. I want to know how things work because I find it interesting, and I am frustrated at myself when I can't because I want to, and I want to get that dopamine hit of like, I fixed it. Oh. When you've been working on a problem forever and it just works after the end, oh man, that feeling is like heaven.
It is, but I will. What if it just magically fixes itself and you don't know why, that feeling is terrible.
I agree with that.
That's almost as bad as not fixing it.
What do you mean I took out that comment and the thing started working? That doesn't make sense.
Right. You put the comment back in and it works. You're
Yeah.
like, that doesn't, no.
And then I start hunting around for why that could be, and I'm at my computer, and I've grown like a 4-inch long beard by the time I get up. The rest of my hair's falling out.
So, do you have a recent troubleshooting example? If not, I can go first while you think of one.
I have one, but it's not done yet. But I will talk about it because it's very frustrating to me.
Okay.
So, for the other podcast I do, Knights of the Roll Table, catch us at Comic-Con.
Plug. No, actually, congrats on that.
Yeah. We will be at Comic-Con. Check us out, Knights of the Roll Table Live. We have a shared Google account. So I logged in. I wanted to log into it the other day, and I was looking through it, and I just happened to notice that, we're not publishing our podcast to YouTube automatically. We should do that. Mm-hmm. We have a YouTube. It has the first couple seasons. But, okay, how do I do that? Oh, well, I need to log into our account first. So I tried to log in, and it's like, hey, enter this code on your Pixel Pro 8. Guess what I don't own? A Pixel Pro 8. So then I'm like, hey, people... And I know they all use iPhone, so I knew who it was. I was like, there's only one person. I was like, hey, I need you to do this thing. And I'm like, okay, then it'll be fine, right? Because then I'm in. Mm-hmm. Nope, because Google doesn't like it. This is the end result of my troubleshooting. Is Google doesn't like when you add new devices to an account. It doesn't trust them for a while.
Right.
Some unknown part of time. So I actually made her get on the phone with me and sit there for like a half hour. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to go into this thing, and it's going to ask you for this question. Because in order to troubleshoot, I had to get into the security settings. And every single time I went to change the security setting, it would go through this two-factor authentication. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, okay, it's two-factor authentication. I look at the security settings. That's off. So it's not that.
Okay.
Okay, what else could it be? And I went through every single security setting, and none of them had it in there. I'm like, okay, maybe it's the recovery phone. I'll change that to my phone. Maybe it's the recovery email address. I'll change that to my... Literally everything now is to me. Mm-hmm. Nothing in there. And and still now, after... This is like 4 days in. I still can't get in without someone else's help because it won't trust my new recovery phone number. It's still sending messages to the old one for a week before it'll tell me this. And the only reason I know that is I somehow managed to get in contact with a tech support person there.
Google?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because I got to the point where I'm like, I don't know. I searched Google, I searched Reddit, I asked ChatGPT, and they all had the same things to say. They're like, oh, this is the advanced security thing. Go here to turn it off. Not on. Mm-hmm. The option doesn't even exist anywhere.
Wow.
But so it's been days. So I'm deep into this right now, but I can
feel the vitriol.
At this point, literally, what I've been told is I just have to wait for an unknown amount of time, but probably a week.
So they basically said commit seppuku to you.
Yeah. So right now I'm the only person who can get in because I won't let anyone else log on until this problem is solved because I'm going to get two-factor authentication set up properly so we don't have this issue. And it's already not set up properly. Even just adding my phone to it, it's doing some weird thing that I don't want it to do. And that is days of troubleshooting. Well, really nights of troubleshooting.
Yeah. And what have we learned from this? Other people are the worst.
Yep.
Because if it was just you, this would have never happened.
Yeah. Really, actually, honestly, what I learned is that the documentation around how the security settings work, it needs to be better.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's a good point. Bringing up documentation, like a strong. I'm sorry to hear about that. That sounds really frustrating. And I've totally been in a situation that was probably similar, where I've hit my brain or my head against the wall for hours, but at least it's weird because you know what you have to do, but what you have to do is nothing. Yeah,
which is waiting. As Tom Petty said, is the hardest part.
It's the hardest part. Yeah.
It is actually... waiting is one of my least favorite things in the world. Mm-hmm. I cannot stand to wait for things. I'm like, just do it now. Yeah. There's no reason we're not doing it now.
I was going to have a really good reply to that, but I think I'm just going to sit here for a few seconds and say...
I hate
you. No. That sounds really... But you know what? Sorry. You brought up documentation.
Yeah, talk about documentation.
Documentation is a double-edged sword.
Yep.
It's one of those things where I feel like no one generally likes to write documentation, so most documentation is either non-existent or poor
Or out of date.
or out of date.
Which type of poor.
Right. And I think one of those things where when you're using a system that changes a lot, documentation is hard to keep up to date because things change a lot. And it's almost like you have to have a dedicated person doing it, which is great when you do have one, like we do at my work.
Yes.
My current job is amazing. We have someone who basically what they primarily do is keep our documentation for our app up to date. He is using the app all the time. He puts bugs in that says, hey, I was going through the documentation. The current site doesn't match up. Should it? Should we change it? Should I, da-da-da-da-da. So it's like having a user who's constantly using the app and telling us.
Such unsung heroes, tech writers.
He is the greatest. Like, I have never worked on a team that had someone who did just that. And so he doesn't get paid enough to be that person.
Much like teachers, tech writers are underappreciated.
Yes. Because it's a job that I think most people don't like doing and find tedious and find uninspiring. So it's a special kind of person who wants to do it and excels at it and is consistent and tenacious about it. So
I would be happy to be that person, especially if I was paid well, on any product that I enjoy using.
Yeah.
I would love to be the person reporting bugs and being like, hey, this is not working the way you think it's supposed to be, or that you're portraying it as working.
Yeah. But I mean, like, having good documentation, especially when you're learning something for the first time, is good for users. And I guess now in the age of AI and LLMs, it's a good source to feed to them that you can then query.
It's actually one of the things I think AI is best for.
Yeah.
But it has the problem of a lot of documentation is wrong.
Yeah. And it doesn't know, or it just it doesn't know that it's wrong, so it spits it out as fact.
And I'll tell it. I'll be like, hey, that's not that option doesn't exist. And it's like, oh, it looks like they changed this. And then it'll go search some more. And I'll be like, nope, that doesn't exist either. Like, oh, their documentation. It never says their documentation is out of date, but that's what it is.
Yeah. A side note, does it bother you that in the current state of LLMs, at least with ChatGPT, I don't know about all the other ones, is that they have it like an unceasingly positive tone, and they're always hopeful. And when humans are like that, that bothers me because I think they're trying to sell me something. Because like I know the world isn't always hopeful and isn't always right, and I'm okay saying I don't know. But I feel like LLMs are programmed to never be unpositive and hopeful.
Yeah, I've actually been thinking about training my ChatGPT instance to be a little bit less.
Can you be more misanthropic?
Not even that. Just like it's overly optimistic, or
yeah,
not
optimistic.
It's overly positive. Honestly, it really is.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, that's a great question. I know it's a great question, and you can tell me that every once in a while, but not every question is a great question.
Because then none of them would.
So they'll be like, what does the F in John F. Kennedy's name stand for? That's a great question. No, it's not.
So instead, you want to say like,
first off, you should just know it's Fitzgerald. But more than that.
That was like. Do you want it to respond with like, just let me Google that for you.com or something?
No, I just don't want it to act like something is special when it's not.
Yeah, but
because then when I do ask a great question that says it, I'm like, you don't mean that.
So basically, LLMs are like they're like gaslighting you, or you feel like you're being gaslit by them.
It's the boy who cried wolf.
Yeah.
Right. Only in reverse.
Yeah.
Boy who cried cotton candy or something. Is that the opposite of a wolf?
Sure. Wolf, cotton candy, diametric.
They're both
opposites.
fluffy.
Yeah. So documentation good was the conclusion of all of that.
Yes. Somehow.
Yes. So my specific example of troubleshooting recently is that I just went on a long vacation. So I came back and I had to pull all the changes that my team had done to our app. And they had done quite a few changes, which is always good to see because it means it's a healthy app that's being looked at and fixed and updated and made better. But I tried to bring up the backend server, and it started throwing an error that it didn't before I left. So I'm like, okay, that's annoying. And so I started thinking, okay, my first thought when I see something like that is there something wrong on my system that's different? Because everybody else is using that code and they're all like, everything's fine. It's just your computer. So I'm like, okay, well, I need to start checking, like, are all my system files up to date? Yeah. Do I need to update Docker? Do I need to update dependencies? And then I tried that a bunch and it didn't work. I'm like, okay, well, maybe I just need to do the old turn it off and turn it back on again. Blow away all the vendor modules and start from scratch, pull the latest image, build it, all that kind of stuff. Didn't work. And I'm like, okay. Then something I have never been used to doing, but because this team is so good and I've been using Git more deeply than I ever had before, I was like, oh, I should just go back to the most recent good commit. And I pulled that down, built that, and it worked. I'm like, okay.
To the commit that you knew was good.
Right. That I knew before I left,
Yeah.
it was working.
Yes.
Then there was weeks of changes. Well, let's get rid of all those changes and does it still work? Because if it doesn't work, then I know it's got to be something on my machine specifically.
Yeah.
But okay, now it's something either between my machine and the code. And so and then that didn't work. I went to another one. I finally got to where it started crashing again. I'm like, okay, what's different? And
That's a great approach, by the way, to solving problems. For me.
So that's what you would have done in that situation?
Eventually, yes. I would have gone back to okay, well, did it ever work?
Yeah.
is kind of my process. You mentioned you kind of went through one at a time. This article mentions what I do, which is more of like a binary search. I'll be like, okay, there's these
100 commits.
Yeah, there's 100. I'm going to start at the 50th.
Yeah, exactly.
Did that one still break? Okay. Go back to the 25th.
Go back to 25.
Oh, that one worked. Okay, so
right.
jump up here. Then,
okay.
Yeah. And eventually I just start going up.
Yeah. I think I might have actually first just tried a day before today.
Right, maybe no one's up to date.
Yeah, or something like that. I don't know. What's funny is that in the end, I actually ended going back to master and not going back to any old commit. And it actually ended up being a dependency on my host OS that was missing.
Wow.
And which, when you're using Docker, the whole point is that's not supposed to matter. It's supposed to work regardless. But for whatever reason, Composer, if you have a dependency in the composer.json file, it must exist on your local host machine for that particular... Now, maybe that's a problem in our configuration, but whatever it was, everybody else had at some point installed that extension locally, and so they're like, I don't know, it's working, and I hadn't, because I was the newest member. I installed it, and then it worked.
So you went to an old one, it worked eventually.
Yes.
But in order to figure out what it was, there was nothing in the code that was obvious, like, hey, look at this thing?
So the obvious change was that we changed PHP versions.
Okay.
And I think I probably had the extension as part of an older PHP version, but not part of the new one. So it said, you don't have that. Except, of course, the error message didn't say anything about, hey, you don't have this extension installed. Instead, it was like, this random value is, unknown by exit.
Yeah. Speaking of, we were talking about documentation. Error messages are another thing that are invaluable to troubleshooting. And the most useful...
Except when that one's not useful.
Yeah. The most useful troubleshooting messages are the ones that are... error messages are the ones that are actionable. Where you can it says, hey, go do this thing.
Right.
It knows why it didn't work.
Right. Well, and the thing was,
should.
It was like a config file had a parameter that wasn't there before, and I was like, okay, well, I'll just get rid of the parameter, and that'll fix it, and it didn't fix it.
Oh.
And so I'm like, well, that's weird. So honestly, it was probably a combination of me missing that extension and maybe also deleting all my Docker images and then re-downloading from source, and something was cached that I don't understand enough about Docker to figure it out.
So someone probably didn't bump a version number or something, and so it thought it didn't change.
I don't know.
I've had that happen a lot actually, where people will change. They'll make a big change to a library that I'm using, but they'll a breaking change, but they will not change the major version. They'll just change the minor. And the way all my systems are set up is usually to grab the latest that's in the... Because you're not... If it's a breaking change, you're supposed to change major.
Right, right.
Semantic versioning, people. And so that might have been what it was, or something like that. See, now I'm trying to troubleshoot the problem. I'm not even there.
Yeah. Well, and also it was making me think of other times when I'm troubleshooting. One of the worst feelings in the world, besides where you are right now, where you're just told to wait, is when I've been spending most of my workday on fixing something and not succeeding, and then I'm like, oh God, it's basically, it's time to go home. It's time to, and I'm like, but I'm not done. Yeah. And I absolutely hate leaving the last thing I've done that I'm going to see first thing in the morning is an unsolvable problem.
Yep.
Oh!
Then you're thinking about it all night.
Yeah. So troubleshooting, when it doesn't work, it's a bummer. when you do finally get that like win at the end of many, many hours or days, it's like, oh. But I think what I've learned most from this article about troubleshooting is it's not software design, it's not programming specifics, but troubleshooting is a universal skill. It's a tool that anybody can learn.
Yep.
And you took a slight bit of umbrage at one part of this where they were like saying that people who don't like computers tend to be bad troubleshooters, and you were like, well, you've seen troubleshooters that it doesn't matter whether they like computers or not, you can still be a good troubleshooter.
Yeah.
Although I found like working with people who use computers as a tool to do something else are kind of the don't like computer people, and they don't even think of or want to be a good troubleshooter, whereas people who are computer first who like computers and then they do stuff.
See, I don't like computers because I use them so much. I dislike them.
Right. It's the curse of knowing.
Because they don't work.
They just don't work how you want in the moment every time.
They should be perfect and know my every whim and need.
Dude, garbage in, garbage out, Matt.
That's true.
So just remember what you're putting in. Anyway, also computers are super complicated, and oh my god, sometimes troubleshooting is just impossible.
It's
and
funny,
you need help.
Computers are at the same time both super complicated and super simple.
Yeah.
Right? Like it boils down to zeros and ones, right?
Yeah. Like, is it plugged in? Sometimes is the answer.
Yeah.
60% of the time, 100% of the time.
Oh, I do have a fun troubleshooting thing from like 25 years ago.
Okay, let's do it.
I led our IT department, right? I was a system administrator for a very, very small company on campus where I went to school. And it also meant I had to do tech support for like all the people that worked there. I had a little team, but usually it was me, especially if it was a hard problem or if it was someone who was really angry about it. So I got to this person's office. I came down there, and he's like, "It doesn't work." I'm like, "What doesn't work?" Typical thing. It's like the monitor is blank, and I look at the monitor, it's on. I'm like, "What's on?" He's like, "Well, not when I use it." I'm like, "What does that mean?" And so like I sat down and I used it. I'm like, "Look, I'm typing." And so and then he sat down and he pulled his chair in and like pushed pushed his keyboard back or something, and it hit the monitor like just a little bit, and the plug was just very loosely in, and so when it moved even the slightest bit, it would lose power. It took me forever to figure. Like, if he hadn't sat down, I don't know if I ever would have figured it out.
Wow. And I think that's why plugs are maybe a little more either magnetic or they fit into a socket, so they're not as easy to just like dangle, and so we don't run into that as much. But yeah, good troubleshooting. So troubleshooting.
Do it. Learn it.
Do it. Valuable skill in life. Learn to like figuring out things, and you will figure out things. I'm just dropping bombs here.
You should write an article.
Thank you, Curiosity, for the article. It was very well written. Lots of good points. We'll link it in the show notes. And I think that's it for this episode.
Yep.
So thank you for listening to this episode of Hacking the Grepson. You can find more episodes at hackingthegrepson.com. We try to put out an episode every other week on Wednesday. Thus far, we're almost to episode 100, and we have not missed one yet.
Syndication.
Because we rule. Royalties are coming soon. But until the next time we talk at you, we now return you to your regularly scheduled lives already in progress.